Saucy Brown expressed JG with Jay-Z was putting that cruel when she was 15, 16. She said the man got a heart at what age was charming earthy colored sign. It seems like you got an inquiry for Jay posed to him. I continue to ask me inquiries you need to ask him since he ain't here ask him I ain't got. Underscore underscore. To do with that, and I don't actually know nothing about that on the off chance that if we going to get down on everyone we calling out. Everyone got to get together you a 15-year-old. Well, clutch your seats, people. The show simply continues to stack up. Jay-Z, the one who was once known as Beyonce's number one, has now been blamed for some genuinely egregious stuff. Prepare yourselves on the grounds that the charges are very stunning. Evidently, some unstable data has as of late surfaced that proposes Jay-Z had an unseemly relationship with Charming Brown while she was underage. And furthermore, sources are guaranteeing that Charming needed to experience the ill effects of heavy weapons specialist while in that profane relationship. This is seriously mind-blowing. Yet don't stress, we have every one of the succulent subtleties, so pause for a minute. And let us stall all down for you presently. Look at this, people. Ronnie Lover, a previous detainee of R. Kelly, has some stunning news to impart to us. While doing time in prison with Kelly, Ronnie playmate had a few extremely fascinating discussions with him. And we should say that Kelly spilled the tea. As per Kelly, the tales drifting around about him in the music business are way more awful than what really occurred with Aaliyah. Could you at any point accept that Kelly guarantees that the media took the story and went for it up until this point, that their bottom reason became to obliterate him and his vocation? I believe that individuals should realize, like the reports, as far as him, you realize you know individuals behind the media. Made that story. Bonnie just spilled the tea on the bits of gossip encompassing the unlawful connection between R. Kelly and his reputed secret girl. He didn't precisely verify or refute the gossip. Yeah, we should say that his indirect response was similarly momentous. Saucy Brown and Jade C. When she was 15, he was 27, you know, as per her burnt her now. Ronnie wasn't finished dropping bombs at this time. He proceeded to battle his companion's body of evidence against the media, saying that regardless of what happened, Kelly messed himself up by having a relationship with an underage young lady. Our Kelly point was up in their life, like fundamentally, man, you all can't accept what you all consultation. So unclearly not with days he attempted to make me out the ocean side, yet hang on people. Ronnie accepts Kelly's contention earnestly. Or perhaps it's the prisoner fraternity talking, who knows one thing's without a doubt. However, things continue to get more insane and more insane circumstances, like that it'll make you distrustful like oak. If you all made such a great amount out of him. Definitely, for what reason was you all so amped up for Jay-Z? We should pause for a minute to consider it's just normal that R. Kelly and Elia's undertaking didn't be ignored. They were after all the power 2 or 3 the 90s. And as it should be, nevertheless, Swim Ronnie has an alternate interpretation of the circumstance. Prepare yourselves, since his position might leave you feeling uncomfortable. The media pick what they need to you realize. Now Ronnie's draining help for his pedophile companion is fairly disrupting. Yet we should be genuine. What could we at any point anticipate from an individual who is serving prison time for unconsented sexual collaborations himself? Even with Ronnie's past, it's basically impossible to legitimize a grown-up effectively controlling an underage young lady's life, genuinely and expertly, that is outright right, that hang on close people on the grounds that the fantasy is a long way from being done. Ronnie, as of late, gave a meeting with Delicious Talk Television. And we should say that he dropped one more stunner. As per Ronnie, JC is the new fate of hip bounce culture, and it's better conceivable that Jay was the one behind R. Kelly's famous standing. Could you at any point accept that Food Park meets right? He was making sense of like this hamburger with Biggie. You understand what I'm talking about is for business. You understand what I'm talking about. Yet they could have seen returning to our valid example. Damon Run was likewise as of late evaluated by Scratch Cannon, who asked him at what age was Saucy Brown marked, and Standard answered, "By saying I wasn't focusing on charming earthy colored. I didn't sign saucy earthy colored. Quit placing me in that don't pulsate around the shrub express, whatever you might be thinking. What do you mean by that question?" It seems like you got an inquiry for Jay posed to him well. When Ken dazzled him to offer an unmistakable response, he detonated on the host. Applause. What happened? I don't have any idea. What are you talking about yet, on the off chance that things would turn out down it wasn't precisely fruitful at avoiding the inquiry. And this essentially demonstrated that there was a going thing on physically among Charming and Jay-Z. He said I never stuck my __. In the Fox's container, yet condemned assuming that I ate mess everything up. They attempt to defame your man on CNN. And Fox, sometime after the claims were made saucy, earthy colored, talked on them, asserting that they were surprisingly misleading. She said every available person included will be reached by my lawyer in the entirety of my years in the music business. These are the most over-the-top, sickening, and discourteous claims I've at any point encountered. This imaginary story, with no general media or composed interview, plainly was devised with vindictive plan. I won't let any covert hit or make friction and discourtesy my name and notoriety. This disregard won't go on without serious consequences. Well, even while her words were fundamentally undeniable, a few fans actually appear to maintain the viewpoint that there probably been a reality to the claims. They even conjecture that perhaps a few devious method were utilized to drive Charming to offer this expression to disarm what is going on. I call BS on the off chance that he is a particularly magnificent individual to her. How could you take such a long time to stand in opposition to the reports she presumably got compromised, really on the grounds that Jay's is a decent rapper? Doesn't mean he hasn't done things wrong to individuals who realizes she could have been down to surrender it to him when she was more youthful, yet as a grown-up she might have acknowledged he was off base on the off chance that he took it. And it irritated her further down the road. My perspectives. Also, there were a few silly tales zooming around that the bits of gossip were begun by Charming herself to uncover Kelly for taking advantage of her honesty. I think he started to feel the tension since individuals were saying my age, the age thing 0.1514. And inevitably that gets to an individual. The J I realize the shot I know never emerges from character, so for that. And that is my point. That is where the tears came from before, on the grounds that individuals don't comprehend that it influences individuals more than you imagine. That reality that he believed he expected to say that implies that something struck something sooner or later. It was very much like sufficient. He made sense of that regardless of what turned out to be claimed underage young ladies associated with the show. Their folks were making a hot expel of them, so they didn't mind what occurred in the background. Might you at any point accept